Hola, ciao bonjour, annyeong privet konnichiwa. What you just heard is hello in Spanish, Italian, French, Korean, Russian, and Japanese. The world around us speaks an enormous number of languages. In fact, humans today communicate in about 7,000 different languages. That number alone is mind-blowing. And what makes it even more complicated is that each one of these 7,000 languages comes with its own set of dialects and accents. But have you ever wondered in the middle of the night, why are there so many languages and dialects? Why don't we all just speak one language? And how did all these languages and dialects come to exist in the first place? Welcome to Midnight Reflections, where curiosity never sleeps. Now, let's find out. Where curiosity never sleeps. One of the most famous stories people share is that long ago, all humans spoke a single language. But one day, a group of people decided to build a massive tower, so tall it could reach the heavens. That tower was said to be in the city of Babylon. The story goes that once they finished building it and started climbing, divine wrath struck them. Fear spread, and suddenly their tongues were changed. Each group began speaking a different language, one that the others could no longer understand. And that's how humanity split into separate languages. But despite how widespread this story is, there's no real evidence for it. It's often referred to as more of a myth or legend. Now, before we go any further, let's agree on something. No language in the world today appeared out of nowhere. Every language we know is derived from an older one, and that older one is also derived from another that came before it. If we keep tracing back step by step, we eventually arrive at the mother language, the original root from which all later languages branched out. And here's something fascinating. Languages can actually be grouped into families. For example, Arabic, Aramaic, Ethiopian, and Chadic all belong to the same family. Meanwhile, English, French, Russian, and Hindi are also related, belonging to a different family. So yes, once upon a time, there really was a single language uniting humanity. Over time, it slowly branched out into new languages, and even into entire language families and dialects. But the big question still remains. If humans originally spoke just one language, what happened? Why didn't they simply stick with it? The answer is simple. At first, people did hold on to the mother language. But as populations grew, humans started spreading out across the world. Some groups migrated to the Nile Valley, others to China, others into Europe and the northern regions. And more groups kept moving farther and farther away. Now here's the twist. Even though they all spoke the same language before they migrated, once they settled in new lands, they faced entirely new environments. They discovered animals, plants, and objects they had never seen before. And they had no choice but to invent new names for these things in order to survive and communicate. Let's imagine this with a simple example. Two friends, Mark and Matt, once lived together. But eventually, each had to migrate with their families to distant, isolated places. One day, Mark's group spotted a strange animal that looked like a donkey but had black and white stripes. They decided to call it X. Coincidentally, Matt's group also came across the same animal in their own region. But since they had no contact with Mark, they gave it a completely different name, Y. 10 years later, Mark and Matt meet again. Mark is shocked to see Matt riding that striped animal while hitting it with a stick. Upset, he shouts, "Why are you hurting X like that?" Matt frowns and replies, "X, what are you talking about? This is Y." And suddenly, silence falls, followed by looks of confusion. Now, the real problem isn't whether the zebra should be called X or Y. The problem is much bigger. Mark's family and Matt's family each encountered countless new animals, plants, and objects during their journeys. And each family gave them completely different names. So even though both families started with the same original language, over time, their vocabularies drifted apart until they sounded like two entirely different languages. And while the story of Mark and Matt is just a funny example, it illustrates perfectly how languages can split and evolve over time. This little story is just a simplified example of how languages start to differ. When societies and communities drifted apart, they constantly encountered new things in their daily lives. And every time they did, they were forced to invent new words to describe them. It wasn't just animals and plants found in nature. Over time, people also created new tools and objects: beds, chairs, weapons, even kitchen utensils. Each group gave these items different names. Now imagine this. If Mark's family was separated from Matt's for only 10 years, look at how different their vocabularies became. But ancient civilizations sometimes lived in isolation from each other for thousands of years. Can you picture how many new words, phrases, and expressions could pile up in 1,000 years? Exactly. The mother language would nearly disappear, replaced by an entirely new one. But here's the catch. New words alone weren't the only reason languages changed. The way people pronounced words and the way they used them also evolved from one generation to the next. Even within the same community, language slowly but steadily shifted. Take English, for example. It changes year after year. If someone from today tried to read an old English text or manuscript, they'd find it almost like a different language. So in the end, the diversity of languages came down to one simple fact: human isolation. Groups lived apart for thousands of years, inventing words randomly to fit their needs and shaping their language to suit their culture and lifestyle. And on top of that, every new generation adapted the language to keep up with the changes in their world. Now, you might be wondering, why don't we just invent one universal language for the whole planet and end this confusion once and for all? Well, here's the twist. Humans have actually tried that, not once, not twice, but more than 300 times. The most famous attempt was Esperanto. It was a universal language created in the late 19th century. Scientists designed it to be easy, fun, and simple to learn. And at first, it worked. It spread across Russia, Europe, the Americas, China, Japan, and even parts of the Arab world. Thousands of people picked it up, and dozens of governments and organizations supported it. But within just a few decades, Esperanto faded away. Why? Because it's almost impossible for people to abandon their native language. A language that carries their identity and their history. So, in the end, the true global language of our modern world isn't Esperanto. It's something else entirely. It's the language of like, share, and subscribe. So join us in speaking this universal language, the most fun and uniting one of all. Now you know. Got more midnight questions? Drop them in the comments. Stay curious, and I'll see you in another Midnight Mystery.